We left off with Conan on the Tree of Woe, with vultures around. Not as many now. Yeah, how do you like getting bit, huh? Apparently that was an actual dead vulture that they used in the shot, so after biting it, Schwarzenegger had to be treated so he didn't catch something mauling a dead bird. And you think you have problems at your job. He spends all day and all night up there, but the next day he finally sees someone running over the hill. Subutai, returning the favor by saving him. At least, hopefully. He doesn't look too good when they bring him back.
He said you were a wizard.
She wants to know if his magic can do anything to save Conan, but he says it will come with a hefty price. She's prepared to pay it, though. Conan is not above cheating to pass this test. Man, look at all the dicks he's drawn on his face. Well, job is done. Why are you drinking from my chamber pot? Tonight is the night when they're going to come for him. The question is whether or not writing shit all over his body, wrapping him up, and staking him to the ground is going to help. I give this, it's original. But if anything's going to work, it's this. After all, we've got an expert. Well, at least an expert in the theory of it. These unnatural shapes come trying to grab Conan, so Valeria goes over there to try and stop them. I guess the goal is to run out the clock. This bit is certainly creepy, I'll give them that. You know, I'm not against CGI on principle. I think it's just a tool, and you need the right tool for the right job. Here, though, is an example where I don't think CGI could achieve the creepy effectiveness of this scene. To put it in Conan's context, given the number of topless scenes we get throughout this film, sometimes side boob achieves more than just a front-on view of a bare pair of knockers. Well, the plan works, the whatever they are depart, and Valeria gets a little big for her britches in saying the gods could not take him. She wouldn't let them. I think that's just asking for trouble. Still, Conan is looking pretty good. He works his sword for a while and seems to still have that down pat. So that evening, while he sharpens it, Subutai shares what the old man had said, that Doom lives in the mountain, and that there are caves around back, so if they used the caves, they could sneak in, rescue the princess, and be off with her before he knows what's what. Valeria points out the problem, though. Good thieves, they could do that no problem. Someone with an axe to grind, that's going to end up with them trying to fight their way out. Oh well, want to live forever? So off they ride, with a fourth riderless horse being brought along because they're feeling optimistic. When they arrive, they paint themselves in the hopes of blending into the background, and in they go. Moments like this, the lack of fair use on this is really frustrating. I'd love to share a sample of the atmosphere of this cave scene with you. It's got fantastic music that really contributes strongly to the entirety of it. But whoever coined the phrase show don't tell apparently never met a YouTube bot, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. It's a great example of using music to give a scene flavor. Though I probably shouldn't use the word flavor, as it is here that cannibalistic dishes are being prepared. And a group of Doom's minions are hauling a massive cauldron of it into his presence. Our heroes naturally follow. By which I mean to get to the destination, not so they can have a steaming bowl full of dead people. There's a topless woman chained to a pillar in here. I'm not sure if she's a prisoner. I kind of get the feeling topless women are just part of the decor for Doom. There's also writhing bodies that may be an orgy, but they seem rather sedate for that. They seem more like when a bunch of cats nap together than some act of carnal hedonism, so I'm not going to commit to that. Finger food. During this, Thulsa Doom starts to get more snake-like, starting with the eyes. Soon his face starts to stretch forward, then his hands vanish up his sleeves. Yep, he's becoming a snake. Why not? Now to go fight Spider-Man. So, having become a giant snake, or as I like to call it, Jafar syndrome, he's naturally not prepared for Valeria to set his curtains on fire. Look at them go up. Lucky the place is made of rock, or it would be a real fire hazard. Subutai makes his move on the guy stirring the pot. Oh, shouldn't have worn that kill the cook apron. And that kicks it off. A whole lot of swords flying as the trio makes short work of the guards. But Thulsa Doom escapes into a snake hole where they can't follow. You know, that old trope. Still, Valeria can at least take the princess prisoner, and Conan takes on the two lieutenants finally. Only the dipshit with the hammer. You have any idea how hard it is to get ornate pillars in 10,000 BC, you jerk? So they make off with the princess, Conan carrying her while Valeria takes up the rear. But Thulsa Doom is back to his human form, gathers his two henchmen, and plans to severely punish them for the sacrilege of spoiling the cannibalistic dinner amid a softcore orgy.
Seek.
I think a raven or a bloodhound would be better. This is why you shouldn't overcommit to a theme. Hilariously, the snake goes rigid and he fires it like an arrow, and it hits Valeria. This is her paying the price for saving Conan's life, although I bet this wasn't the way she figured it would happen. People die from snakes, sure, but very rarely because they've been shot with one. Conan lays her to rest on a pyre, which is in a bad spot because fire cannot burn up there. Except, much to Mako's shock, it does. Guess the gods were willing to make an exception for death by snake impaling. Conan throws aside his old pendant in favor of the eye of the snake that he'd once given her, and waits. He's chained the princess to one of the stones, presumably as bait for Thulsa Doom, and with Subatai's help, sets up some spikes and booby traps. If RPGs were true to life, this is what your inventory should look like. They suit up with all the supplies and wait as the hordes of Thulsa Doom head this way. So Conan offers Crom a prayer, that since all that will matter is that two stood against many, at least allow him to have revenge in this battle. So it's great that we've got a good cause to fight for. So they fight, and they fight, and they fight, and they fight. Look at how easily it falls apart. Pfft, they sure don't make them like they will later on. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to see a dentist. Even Mako gets into the fight, saving Subatai's life, surprising no one more than himself, actually. I mean, that's saying something. As for Conan, he's the worst hide-and-seek player ever. Fooled you! Well, the other lieutenant shows up and gets Conan dead to rights, only for Valeria to fulfill her declaration that if she were to die, she would come back to fight at his side, even if it's only to buy him a moment to recover. Conan puts the guy down, and Thulsa Doom has decided that's enough for today. But first, he's going to ensure the princess won't go home, whipping out another snake to fire at her. There's got to be a better plan than needing to go to the pet store every time you need more ammo. Subatai manages to block the shot with his shield, but Thulsa Doom still gets away. Still, considering the final score, we can call the results of this battle for Team Conan. Doom goes back to his hordes of followers, but Conan is finishing this and slips into his temple, kills the guard, and confronts Doom.
You have come to me, my son. For who now is your father if it is not me?
It worked in Empire Strikes Back. Maybe Conan will fall for it. Well, Conan takes his head off, and not a clean cut either. He has to give it a few whacks before it comes free. The cultists start tossing their torches into the pool to show their rejection of the ways of feeding living people to snakes and eating the dead ones yourself. Conan burns the place down anyway, just to be sure, and as the ending says, Conan had more going on. Let's read this. So did Conan return the wayward daughter of King Osric to her home, and having no further concern, he and his companions sought adventure in the west. Many wars and feuds did Conan fight. Honor and fear were heaped upon his name. In time he became a king by his own hand, but that is another story. Cool! So with that done, let's go on to talk about parts of the film more seriously, and in a way that's not going to upset the bots this time, in discussing Conan the Barbarian.